President Biden will announce a new task force this week focusing on reuniting families separated at the U.S.-Mexico border. It comes just days after a federal appeals court ruled the government could resume expelling unaccompanied children caught crossing the border. Tonight, we're joined by attorney Alex Ozels. He's been named one of the top 100 trial lawyers in America. Alex, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Alex, what's your immediate reaction to this ruling by three judges who were all appointed by President Trump?
Yeah, so basically what the appeals court is saying is it's a federal appeals court out of D.C. And what they're saying is that the government can continue to remove or deport these migrants who are separated from their families. Now, the issue here is there's a lot of these migrants that have been separated from their families or in detention centers or in some sort of a holding pattern where the government doesn't know what they need to do with them. The problem is these people, a lot of these migrants came in with their families. And under the Trump administration, they essentially lost their families. They separated them from their families. And now these people are unaccompanied minors without a family member. So that's kind of the issue and the problem that's going on here.
So we know nearly 9,000 children were expelled before the practice was barred last year. President Biden again saying he plans to take a different approach to immigration by offering a pathway to citizenship rather than these mass deportations. So effectively, will this ruling matter?
No, I mean, Biden's going in the complete opposite direction. Now, they're setting up a task force. They're going to announce it on Tuesday. The task force is going to literally be there to reunite people with their families. President Biden has said there's an 8-year path to citizenship for people who illegally entered the country as of January 1st, 2021. There will be a 3-year path to citizenship for dreamers or people on temporary visas. So even though the court's saying you can deport or remove these migrants, the Biden administration is saying, we're not doing that. We're actually going in the complete opposite direction.
So we know many of the unaccompanied children arriving at the border are seeking asylum in the United States. Tell us about the process for applying for this. How does all that work?
Sure. So it's not a quick process. They're going to need to, once they're in the U.S., they're going to need to apply for asylum through a visa type process. It's going to be, sometimes they're expedited depending on the situations, whether it's political asylum or the different parts of the different types of asylum that there is. And what's going to happen then is the Immigration, Naturalization, and Citizenship is going to make a decision on the asylum. Now, not everyone is accepted for this asylum process. A lot of people assume that when someone applies, they automatically get it. They'll make a decision on the ones that will receive asylum. If they do receive asylum, they'll be admitted to the U.S. at that point.
Will new immigration laws be made by Congress, or do you think this is going to be an executive order?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So President Biden is going to try and, if he can, he'll do this through Congress. But honestly, he can do them all through executive orders. So an executive order, the only reason it would be invalid is if it clashes directly with a provision in the Constitution. And looking at his whole comprehensive immigration plan, there's nothing here that looks like it's going to directly conflict with the Constitution. So President Biden, if he wants, he could essentially do his whole immigration plan by executive order.
How big of a problem are unaccompanied minors attempting to cross from Mexico into the United States as we continue to talk about the process of removing these children?
I mean, when you look at the problem or the potential problem here, you got to think a lot of these people were with their families, and a lot of these people now need to be reunited with their families. Obviously, if there's unaccompanied minors that don't have any families involved, that really don't have an asylum claim or anything like that, then it may actually be in their best interest to go back to their country in that situation, because that may be a safer place for them than in the U.S. without anything here. But a lot of these situations, it's a situation where they did come in with their family, they've now been separated from their family, and now we're trying to figure out how to properly deal with this, or the government's trying to figure out how to do that.
Attorney Alex Ozels. Alex, thank you.
Thank you.